Sonny, Southern Gentleman, how did that happen?
Well, the Southern Gentleman that people are familiar with, that really came from after Ken Nelson had started under my name, placing the name The Southern Gentleman. Everybody was
like Ernest Tubb, the Texas Troubadour.
Eddie Arnold, the Tennessee Plowboy. But anyway, it started with The Southern Gentleman. So then we just changed it to plural when I would pick up my first group, which was Harlan Powell, Neil Jones, and Dude Kahn. And then when I came to Nashville, these fellows I had met while they were actually guesting on the Opry. That was Dwayne, Lynn, and Gary Roble. And
so they were the Southern Gentlemen.
And well, Milo before then, I'm sorry. Milo, who was my right hand for years and dear friend, as is Gary and a whole bunch of them.
I need to go to the telephone again.
Oh, do you? Okay. Well, anyway, they're just super guys today. Harlan.
Sonny, I need to go back to Texas.
Okay. Well, Texas, Roy Barbie's there in Odessa.
Janice, how are you?
I'm doing just wonderful. How are you?
Good. You want to talk to Sonny James?
Yes, I want to tell him that I am so proud he got inducted into the Hall of Fame. I think it was years and years and years overdue. And I could tell you as a real gentleman, just like they call you. But I want to tell you, I watched you on Bill Cody on the Master Series. And my husband and I was so disappointed that he didn't show a video of you singing or anything like he does with the other guests. And I'll let y'all know a secret. I haven't got my TV on yet. I've got it on my DVR so I can go straight to it when I get off the phone. And I just feel confident that Ralph has showed you singing on some little something other on there.
Okay.
I have great...
Thank you. I appreciate it.
But I want you to know that you have a beautiful wife.
Thank you. I think so, too. Thank you.
Yes, you do and everything. You get your medal, and I enjoyed getting to watch him talk to you, and I know I'm going to just love watching Ralph talk to you right now.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
I appreciate it. Bye-bye.
She talks more than you do. Let's go to Missouri. Up in Missouri, we find Gary. Gary, good evening to you.
Oh, good evening to you, Ralph, and it's sure good to see you back on TV, and I think you have one of the finest-sounding voices of anyone in radio and TV speaking voices.
Thank you.
And I have two quick questions for Sonny James.
Okay.
What was his favorite #1 record? And number two question is, what was the biggest thrill he ever had in his long and distinguished career?
Well, of course, Young Love would, because it was the first one, I think. If anybody asked Tennessee Ernie, he would say 16 tons if he were still around. So that first one is so important. But everyone, when they would become a hit, I was just extremely proud of each one of them. And so far as the biggest thrill that I've had, I don't know. I would think that probably the biggest thrill has been when I married Doris.
I will go for that.
Yep.
She's a very pretty lady.
Thank you.
Gary, thank you. That was Gary up in Missouri. Doris is here tonight. You and Doris have been married for how long now?
Well, we celebrated our 50th last week.
Chet Atkins, I think, told you one time, Sonny, if you want to meet a pretty girl or a nice girl, go to church.
Go to church.
Is that where you met her?
Oh, yeah, and we still, here in Nashville, just a great congregation here, Brentwood Hills. And we have dear friends out there. And Doris and I, we met in Dallas, Texas, at church. I found the church first, and then I started looking for an apartment. So I had an apartment near there, and it's a long story. But anyway, we finally met, and then we fell in love.
Uh-huh. What was your opening line to her?
If you're going to the movie with me, you better get ready. That's the truth.
What did she say?
Well, she didn't know that I was in the entertainment business that time. I was on Saturday Night Shindig, television and radio there, and her sister had seen me. Said, that boy that's in our Sunday school class, said, he's on this television show. So Doris came down, and I spoke to her, but I mean, we didn't date each other or anything to begin with. And then, as you would have these get-togethers, she somehow got to be seated in the front seat with me with a gang of us, when we go someplace.
You got to be careful.
And then it grew. That Texas girl got
I'm going to Kentucky now and talk to Jimmy. Jimmy, help me. Jimmy, what's on your mind?
Hey, Ralph.
Yes.
Hey, Sonny.
Yeah, how are you, Jimmy?
Okay.
Good.
Do you have a new CD coming out?
I'm sorry?
Do you have a new CD coming out?
They're repackaging nearly everything I ever did, Jimmy. They're on just a Duke's, that's an old Southern expression, Duke's Mixtry right now. They're on Capitol and CBS, and all those hits they're packaged, and I never know really when there's...
But you're not recording now, are you?
No, I'm not recording right now. No, I haven't. When I came off the road, I thought it would be better if I didn't do television or personal appearances or recording at the same time. It was a decision we made. But some of these days I may go in. If I need money for the groceries, I'll be out there again.
Okay. Jimmy, thank you. I wanted to show them this. This is your medallion. You go in the Hall of Fame, you get this. You got it last year, and your name is on the back. It says Sonny James, 2006. And by the way, did we mention your website? SonnyJames.com, isn't it?
Yeah, official, because one of my group had read so much publicity that was not true about me. He and his son, Greg, Roble, and Gary, they did this on their own. They run things by me. But they're just super guys, and I appreciate this.
There's a great biography of your life.
That's right.
And the only authorized
That's right.
biography.
And they, if you want to know the truth, go to that. And
okay, hold on. We're going to Oregon.
Long
way.
Okay.
Tom, how are you?
Okay, Ralph, how are you?
Good.
It's good to see you back on the air.
Thank you.
Okay.
What can we
I have
do
a
for you?
question for Sonny. What was your first major hit?
Well, as I referred to a while ago, Young Love would have been the major, but I had some country records before then that were hits. And in the country field, For Rent and several other songs that would make like the top 10.
Okay.
But
let's get back
they
to
weren't
Tom.
a giant.
Tom, what was your other question?
Well, the other was about For Rent, but I had also... I was going to ask him about For Rent because that was the first time I had heard him. I was at Castle Air Force Base in Merced, California, and had heard him sing that song, and that was the first time that I really had notice of Sonny James.
Yeah.
And then there was also another question. Do you know a fellow by the name of Glenn who used to be your bass singer?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the name.
A fellow by the name of Glenn? I can't remember his last name, but his name is Glenn.
He used to sing with you.
Oh, Glenn Huggins? Are you talking about Glenn Huggins? Oh, yeah, he's in Idaho. He came in for the Medallion Hall of Fame ceremony, as did Lynn Bowen, another Southern gentleman, Milo Leggett, Jack Galloway, and Dwayne is deceased, but along about that time, all that group, just very close to me.
Okay, yeah, my daughter and son-in-law are real good friends of Glenn.
You bet you.
Well, I wanted to throw that in there. And
yeah, he's a good guy. He really is.
Well, we've never had a chance to meet you personally, but someday maybe.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
Yes.
We'll take one more call, okay?
Okay.
Chubb from Virginia. Chubb, how are you?
I'm doing great, Ralph. How are you doing?
Good.
Pleasure to speak to two country legends and two gentlemen.
Thank you.
What's on your mind?
I had a question for Sonny about a session from 1952. He was on with Jim and Jesse and produced a great Living Brothers song called Are You Missing Me? Could you comment on that, Sonny?
Well, Ken had called me, Ken Nelson, their producer also. They were on Capitol. And he called me. I happened to be in town for a session, and he said, I got Jim and Jesse coming in. And he said, either they didn't bring their fiddle player or he was unable to be there. And he said, Sonny, would you play fiddle? Can you play bluegrass? I said, bluegrass is music, you know. So I said, sure. So it just turned out that that record is kind of a classic for Jim and Jesse. And that's how it came about.
Okay, Chubb. That's the end of our phone calls tonight, my friend. Thank you for calling. Maybe you'll get through next time. We'll be back with Sonny James right after this break. Guest, an American musical legend and treasure. Sonny, I want to ask you about something else that not many of my friends can claim. You have a star in Hollywood, don't you, in the Walkway of Stars? How do you achieve something like that?
I don't know. I don't know, but it was the first country artist that they had recognized. Now, they had the Gene Autry's and other folks like that.
Movie stars.
Yeah, movie stars. But this was like a country artist. And they just informed me that it was going in one of the original, when we're doing those things.
Aren't you right across the street from the famous Chinese theater?
Chinese Grauman, theater. The street. And I didn't realize at that time that press conferences were called or whatever. And now it's a big thing, the press.
Were you there? Were you there?
No, I wasn't there. They just, they had told me that this was after, and so there was never a party. So I need to do this all over again and do it right.
I went to Buck Owens, whatever you call it, star laying.
Yeah.
And it's the only one I've ever been to. And that's because Buck bought me a plane ticket. Sonny, before you left the house, you